welcome to another edition of Blathercast Comics, a show about comic books, pop culture, and all kinds of other stuff. I'm John.
And I'm Dave.
So, third time's the charm.
Yeah. You're really enthusiastic this time, though.
Yes, I know this is the one that's going to stick, so I thought I'd give it my all.
Yeah, the second one was like, yeah, this is a show. Whatever.
So, how was your free comic book day at the shop?
It's good. Super busy. Had an artist in called named Rob Dumo. He's art director of Broken Icon Comics. He was doing sketches and he had prints, and there's a couple of books that he's worked on. And then he worked for Zetascope briefly. Actually, did an issue of one of their Robin Hood series. So he was great guest. Had some raffles going on, free comics, of course, 20% off back issues. So yeah, it was a good day. It was super busy. I think everyone had a good time. It seemed like everyone that I talked to was happy. So that's always good.
How were sales in compare? Were sales good? Did you convert a lot of the freebie people into real customers, or did you say, or compared to your other free comic book days, what's a good percentage? What do you expect, like, out of free comic book day for new customer acquisition?
Well, I it's hard to go into get into the numbers, but I would say that I don't
want you to give a number, just like a general feel. Like, how did you feel?
I would say 90% of the people that came in, overall, not new customers, but 90% of the people that came in bought something. Even if it was just a raffle ticket, $5 raffle ticket or $1 raffle ticket, I would say 90% of the people bought something. I would say, man, there was a lot of new people, though. Like a lot of new people that I don't think I've met before, or I've seen, a handful of times. Of course, there's always the people that I see only once a year, and that's on free comic book day, and stuff like that. But I think overall it was a pretty good day. Of course, I'd like to do more business on that day, because free comic book day is free to customers, but not free to the retailer. So the comics cost probably about 25 cents each that we got. So you've seen the table that we had. So, it's a pretty big...
You had a few $100s on that table.
Yeah, definitely. And what we did was, free comic book day, they have rules. You can't charge for free comics on that day. And you can't say, hey, it's free with purchase. Well, what you can do is limit the amount people get. So I did, in the morning, I did four free per customer. And then as the day went on, I kind of was like, okay, I have enough to get through the day so everyone could get comics. And that's really the reason why I limit it, is because I want the people that aren't there right at open throughout the day to be able to get, at least 4 free comics, So I kind of limit it that way. If you do have a pull bag subscription with me, though, I give you a list of all the free comics, and you can pick out whatever. So that's like a thank you to the people that have pull bags, because it's really, really important for us to have pull bags. It's guaranteed that you'll come in every month, get your stuff. So that's like a thank you.
Most of the time it's guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's definitely people that, I don't want to get into like stuff like that, but I do have one story. So one year, this is a funny story. Not really funny, I guess, but one year I had a guy and he had a pull bag for us, and he was a really good customer for a while. And then we just asked people to come in once a month, get their stuff. And he started to like not come in. And I'm not as strict as probably I should be. And I think throughout the years, I've started to get a little bit more strict. But I contact you if I haven't seen you in a month. Like, hey, you have stuff in here. Is everything okay? Most people that ditch their bag don't respond. And all I need is, oh, sorry, this happened. I'll be in. Or, oh, sorry, this happened and I don't have enough money or whatever. And I
Or,
usually,
hey, I just haven't been liking my comics lately.
yeah,
Or I've
yeah.
been busy and I haven't been reading them, so I decided to, quit buying them because they're just stacking up here and I'm not reading them. Whatever. It's
Yeah,
better
and
for somebody to tell you than to just be like, eh.
yeah, absolutely. And like I don't take it personally. It's like if comics isn't putting out a good enough product for you to want to come in every month, then it's comics' fault, right? So
Right. I mean, you still gave me the reach around, and I hadn't bought comics for you for a while.
yeah, but we talked about it. It's just a conversation. Like I had a guy like, hey man, I just lost my job. I can't get my comics. And I was like, oh, okay, stuff happens. I've been there. So yeah, we'll put the comic book bag on hold. If you can come in and get the stuff out of your bag, that's fine. Things are ordered 2 months in advance. So like the sooner you tell me, the better it is. There might be like some things that I have to take a hit on, but I usually don't make them like, I can't force you to buy the stuff. Right. So, but that's the only thing is like, just be responsible. Then he came back when he got a job and got his stuff and everything was great. But no, I had a guy, like ditch a bag, wouldn't contact us, wouldn't tell us. And that's all I need to know is, hey, I can't get it. So then I stopped ordering for you. Like I said, it's 2 months in advance. So if I don't see you in a month, but I'm still ordering, like, yeah, he'll be in.
That's 3 months extra of comics you've got.
Right, exactly. And it's like, and then things come up on final order cutoff, which is like 3 weeks before the book actually gets shipped to me. And then I could adjust my order accordingly. Like, oh yeah, like that one odd book that I'll never sell in my life, and it was just ordered specifically from him. I don't need that anymore. So that's, money I could save. But he like came in one year on Free Comic Book Day and he had like, I don't know how much stuff in his bag, grabbed the free stuff and like ducked out. And it was so busy. Like we couldn't say anything to him. We couldn't like, hey, it was like, it was ridiculously
you would have been causing
busy.
a bad scene in front of
Right.
your other customers.
And I thought that was pretty low to do. I thought that was pretty terrible, but that's the exception, like that doesn't happen very much. But yeah, like you get kind of discouraged when people don't even want to talk to you. As like I have a business partner, so me and my business partner, we had like a flyer for a sale coming up in June. And it's like, you don't even come up to talk to us. Like, hey, at least let us try to sell you something, That's the point, is to keep the business and keep the business going, keep people interested in comics.
Yeah, I got a sketch. I haven't picked it up yet because I had my son with me, and Rob wanted to know if I wanted to hang out while he did the sketch, and I was like, no, because it can be stressful keeping a 3-year-old under control in a store that has so much colorful, fun stuff to touch.
Yeah,
so.
he was pretty good though.
He's really good.
The day before he wasn't.
No, they no. Yeah, I tell you, I just don't know what to do sometimes.
No, but he was good. He was good.
Yeah, we had fun. We went to the park afterwards.
Nice.
And then he ran around and had lots of fun. He met some new kids. They were doing sheep shearing or something at this park we went to.
Oh, yeah?
And there were a bunch of kids there. And like I read the sign and it was pretty far away from the playground where they were doing it, and you couldn't see
Mhm.
the sheeps. Like you had to go around and back, like so they weren't visible from where we were. And I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to mention that. I just didn't want to go back and see the sheep.
Right.
Uh anyways, to further blather on talking about sheep, they're I guess their cousin, it would be my nephew, runs a sheep farm. So they see sheep all the time. And I was like, let's just play on the playground. I don't want to see any sheep. Anyways. Yeah, I have not read any of the stuff I picked up on Free Comic Book Day. So I did get. I think this was the only thing I had you put in my bag that wasn't for my kids. And you might have just put it in my bag. I'm not even positive I asked for it.
Okay, what was that?
Uh, Barrier.
Oh yeah, the Brian K. Vaughan book. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I'm guessing that this is issue 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's issue 1. So what they're going to do is next week they're going to have like um, a deluxe edition of that. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries. And next week, number 1, the same book is going to come out. They have to pay for, but it's going to be like a deluxe edition with like a ton of extra stuff in it. And that's a pretty thick book as it is to give away for free. So
Yeah. So
and then it's going to come out weekly throughout May.
well,
And this is
the book they can do that because that book's been done.
Yeah, it was a digital first. Panel Syndicate is where Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin run their comic books through,
I'm
and
waiting.
it's like a pay whatever you want, right? Isn't it?
It is. I don't really like reading PDFs of
Yeah,
comic books. I'm not
me
into
neither.
it. The other thing, I'm gonna wait to see if they do the deluxe hardcover like they did with Private Eye, because that's a pretty sweet book. I mean,
They said that they're not going to reprint this at all. So the only printings it's going to be are going to be these 5 issues that are coming out in that free comic book day. So I don't think they're going to do a hardcover at all, even though that Private Eye hardcover is really, really cool.
I guess I'll need this in my bag then.
Okay. All right then.
Because I was going to wait for the hardcover. So apparently if that's not coming. But anyways, the other interesting thing they did with this book, and Private Eye is the same way, is it turns, the binding where it turns is at the top of the book, not on the left side.
Yeah, it's landscape.
So the whole book is in landscape, and the hardcover of Private Eye is the same way. I think that's it's interesting, and it plays well to have these longer panels that don't so you have this you can get a really good nice large panel in there, a nice large scene without going on 2-3 pages or 2 pages. It doesn't have to go across. And I think that's a nifty way to do the book. I want to say it's gimmicky, but it's not really a pain in the ass to read it that way like I thought it would be.
Yeah, the Private Eye hardcover is really cool, the way that that's designed. And like you just see all the detail, especially that book, because they're in this futuristic city, and you just see like everything going on, and it's really, really detailed, and it's got all kinds of things in the background that you could read the book 2 or 3 times and discover something new. And I really like that about that book.
That was a good book. If anybody doesn't know, it's like the opposite of today. So everybody is super private. There's no Facebook or Twitter. Like all that stuff got shunned, and like something happened that like just destroyed civilization because of all this digital socialization. But it goes to such an extreme in this book that people, like, when they leave their house, they wear masks. So everything is anonymous. So it's a pretty interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What else we got here? Do you want to talk about DC Nation?
Yeah, let's talk about DC Nation.
All right.
So DC Nation it was a quarter book that came out on Wednesday. I think this book was supposed to be the Free Comic Book Day DC book. They had DC Superhero Girls, Superhero High. I think they had one of theirs as a Free Comic Book Day. But I think this was supposed to be the other Free Comic Book Day. But for whatever reason, they wanted it out on Wednesday, and they decided to charge a quarter, but well worth the price. DC Nation had 3 stories. One was a Batman story, but really a Joker story by the Batman creative team, Tom King. And Clay Mann was the artist. There was a Superman story, which would be the second Brian Michael Bendis Superman work for DC, and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez was the penciler of that. And then you had Justice League story, which is, I would assume, a prelude to the No Justice 4-issue miniseries that's coming out this next Wednesday. And that was by Scott Snyder, James Tynion, and Joshua Williamson, who I think those are going to be the 3 writers of the 3 ongoing Justice League books. And so the first story, you read this book, right?
Yeah. Yep.
What was your favorite out of the 3?
Ooh. It's either got to be the Justice League or the Batman.
Yeah.
So the one thing I really thought that the Joker looks like Marilyn Manson a lot in this book. And like especially in the people be able to see like this panel here. I think I don't know, he's just got that Marilyn Manson look and that big nose that Marilyn Manson has. He's got in that anyways. But I like the whole he leads the guy on that he's not gonna kill him. And
yes, so this was like a prelude to the Batman story that's going on right now. Like Batman and Catwoman are getting married, and he knows that they're getting married, and he basically goes to this random person's house and is like, "I'm waiting for mail," and it's kind of like, why were you expecting an invitation at this address? Why? Like, why would it so happen you get an invitation to the Batman Catwoman wedding at this random dude's house? Like, why? What does that make any sense at all? And he kind of holds this guy hostage, and it's pretty funny because he does. Like you said, he leads him on that he's not gonna kill him, and then he gets the letter, and it's not the invitation at all.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, he's like, I would only kill you if I really got upset. And the guy's like getting freaked out because he's like, there's no way this invitation is coming.
Right.
And then it comes, he opens it up, and it's not an invitation. But he pretends it is, and he's like, well, I'm sorry, I kill people when I'm happy, too. And then he blows the guy's brains out.
Right. So I think it was a perfect Joker story. I really liked it for the only couple of little pages that it had. It was cool.
So I thought it was neat in the Justice League story how each like set of pages was someone else from the Justice League bashing the rest of their team. But like not bashing them, but like it's talking like, oh, here's Cyborg, and he's talking about how Wonder Woman doesn't show her emotions or shows her emotions too much. I can't remember which. And they go to each little team. They're going to fight. The barrier wall was broken by a giant alligator or something, and they're going to save it, I guess. Right? It was an alligator, right?
Yeah, alligator.
I'm sure. It was a crocodile and alligator and a stingray. And that Steve guy that died, his ghost is also there.
So it said in the book, it says that, not long ago, the Justice League accidentally broke the source wall and the boundaries of the no multiverse. That's the events of Dark Knight's Metal, right? I don't know.
I didn't read
honestly,
Metal.
Metal really didn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. But now they're fighting these huge creatures are coming. They're like big, like Jack Kirby celestial looking creatures, big things. And it's like, I don't know. It's a ton of members of the Justice League, and it looks like they're going to be 3 different teams, or there are 4 different teams in here. But they'll all work together in some way. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
So I think it goes from this into the mini series, and then from the mini series it goes into 4 different books.
Yeah. Right now there's only been 3 announced, but there's a 4-issue mini series coming, and that's weekly in May.
I thought there was Justice League. I thought there were 4. I thought
maybe there was another one announced that I missed, but that what's been solicited was Justice League Dark, and Justice League Odyssey.
Yeah.
There could be another one. So my least favorite story is really the Superman one. It's just kind of talking about like his Superman's life at the Daily Planet and his work, and how Lois is decided to leave the Daily Planet, and they introduce a new character who's going to take her place.
She seems evil, so I kind of dig that.
And it was kind of like, all right, whatever. But it looked like she was kind of on to Superman, because Superman leaves the Daily Planet, and she was like, they all say he comes up here, and I thought Mr. Kent went up here to the top of the building.
Right. But he's flying away to save the day. And then the last panel, she's like, I'll own the place by Wednesday. And it's like, you're kind of cocky for a new girl.
Yeah. So there must be something.
Although she's not a rookie per se. She is an accomplished journalist. Right? They grabbed her from somewhere else. Yeah,
BuzzFeed. Or something. Was it BuzzFeed?
Well, we know the Daily Planet quality is going down the tubes, and that place is full of clickbait crap articles.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good, it's definitely a good issue to pick up for 25 cents. At least 2 of the 3 stories were really good. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll be reading those. And I'm going to at least check out the Justice League books when they come out until I decide that they're not my thing.
Right.
I've really been digging the Flash that I've been reading. So I've been trying to catch up, and I'm about halfway through A Perfect Storm.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about A Cold Day in Hell for 1 second. So there was one part of this book where Barry's talking to Godspeed,
Hmm.
and it's near the end. Of course, now I can't find it. So Barry's talking to Godspeed, and he's asking him, what, or thanking him. He's like, I'm glad I could trust you. You said you'd do this. How come you didn't escape when you had the chance from Iron Heights? And he goes on and he's like, oh, I thought about it, feeling the wind in my hair and, racing as Godspeed again. But the panel, he's got his eyes closed, and then there's this image of Godspeed behind him. And it's not like a super detailed background or anything. It's like the image of the Godspeed head and then like the Speed Force kind of in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I liked how they brought his imagination, to life in the panel. I just really dug that. That's all. That's all I wanted to say about that. I really like that panel.
That book is so good.
The art really brought out the feeling of, of the character at the moment, in the moment.
It's pretty crazy. I don't know. I can't really remember what the sales are, but in my store, like that rivals Batman. It's probably I sell probably just under what I sell with Batman, and that's really good.
So Batman is the number one seller in your stores. It's still ASM.
No way. ASM is not even close to that.
Was it ever the best seller in your store?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't even sell half of what I used to of Spider-Man.
That's disappointing.
It's sad, but I think with they had a new free comic book day, new creative team. Hopefully, it'll get back to being a top seller where it should be. It'd be nice for that book to be good again. That line once got me in trouble on Twitter.
Yeah. Dan Slott did some good stuff in Spider-Man. He just was on the book way too long, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think he just was on way too long, and a lot of other things happened with him, and it kind of bled through into his writing, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't good enough for Spider-Man,
No. I mean, he's a talented writer, but that definitely went. Yeah.
Too long.
I think I started reading that right as like it was good when I first started reading it, and then I started reading it right before it started going downhill.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely disappointing.
But so you got one more. You want to talk about Avengers?
Yeah. So the first of this, I think we actually mentioned this in our very first episode, was the fresh start at Marvel, and the first book out of this fresh start of the ongoings is Avengers #1 by Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness, two of my favorite creators, and the book starts with the Avengers of 1 million years ago, which is what we saw their first appearance in the Marvel Legacy one-shot that came out. I think it was like last summer, and we kind of seen the tale of the things that were going to go on throughout the next year or so in the Marvel universe. We start off with them, and they're kind of like, we've killed a Celestial before, but like it was hurt and weak. And if somebody's like killing and are afraid of these Celestials, like what the hell else is out there? Like we don't stand a chance. Like these things are impossible to kill, and someone just wiped them out or whatever. So that was like kind of like in the beginning. And then we get to present day, which I really love because the team is now going to be Captain America, Steve Rogers, not a Nazi, Thor, Odin's son, regular, Thor, Iron Man, Tony Stark, not Riri, Black Panther, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Ghost Rider. And it's Robbie Riot's Ghost Rider, but you know what? I kind of like that Ghost Rider, and he's got a cool car. They start with. Go ahead.
I really like that Ghost Rider too. I really liked reading that. That was one of my favorite books when it was out.
Yeah, like
anyways.
That started off in a really good. I think it started off really good, and then I think it was kind of like, all right, what else are you going to do with the character? But yeah, I think this was a really good book, and they kind of talk about like everything that happened between these three in the last couple of years. Like they were basically pushed to the sidelines. These are the three most, I think, iconic, most important Avengers. When you think about the Avengers, you think about Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. You think about how the movies pretty much revolve around them, and probably Hulk, I guess.
I totally thought you were going to say Hulk, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel.
And important characters. I don't think the Hulk overall in the history of Avengers is really that important. He's important, I guess, in the beginning. It brings the team together through Loki. But throughout all the years that the Avengers have been around since 1963, you really is like Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man are a lot of the mainstays. Like I just see them as the three big ones. If you think the Justice League is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, I would say the big three is Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. But they kind of talk about them being kind of pushed aside, and they talk about the things like, hey, you were Hydra Cap, and Tony was been in a coma, and Thor's unworthy, and all this stuff. And they talk about like maybe it's time we did move out of the way, but now maybe it's time that we take the team back. And then they cut to a scene with Doctor Strange and Black Panther are investigating stuff in the Earth, and it's going to lead to these Celestials coming to Earth. There's scenes with She-Hulk in it, which is cool, and Captain Marvel and Ghost Rider. But I thought it was a solid first issue. I really like the art and the coloring, and it's cool to see this last page where Captain America saying Avengers Assemble, and it's Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man.
All right. I always thought they needed I forgot. I totally had a joke lined up and I blew it.
But the important thing about this is like I like the lineup of the team. I like all the characters on this team. And I like the creative team. I like the writer, I like the artist, I like the colorist. So like that's all we want is a good story with characters we like, like even if I didn't like some of these characters on the team, it was written well, but be like, oh, it's pretty good, So
right. I think a big difference, they had Miss Marvel, which was a success that they didn't expect. That book did better than I think they thought it did in the beginning, and they're like, oh, this must be what people want, and then they made every book like that. And people didn't necessarily want. I mean, the thing that Miss Marvel did was she took the place of somebody who hadn't been in that mantle for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like she was replacing somebody right off the bat. Or was it? Or it only been a year? I don't know, Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel in 2012. When
Yeah,
did
Carol Danvers became Captain Marvel because there was no Captain Marvel. You know, whoever Captain Marvel is dead. Whoever the last one was, I don't know. There's been like 17 Captain Marvels. Um, but yeah, she did take that place, and I think the Miss Marvel book was good when it came out in the beginning,
Yeah,
and then I think it got,
the
and
first
then I
12
think it
issues
got,
or so were pretty good.
yeah, then I think it just got kind of weird and kind of not a superhero book, and uh, if it's a superhero character that's a superhero, and you might want to make it a superhero book. I don't know. I don't. I don't know. Go fight bad guys. That's kind
Right.
of the deal. But I mean, overall, I think this Avengers book was really good. It's something that I think's been missing from the Marvel universe is one main Avengers book for a while. I think to have a really, really solid team of the characters and the creative team is important to Marvel, and it's important to fans and important to stores. So I really like the book. And I don't think it was the greatest story in the world, but it was a book that I'm like, oh, I'll definitely pick up the next issue, you know. And I think people that picked up the book this week, at least at my store, really enjoyed it.
See, now you take the younger characters, right? Like, I think that team would be interesting. Like, you take Riri and Miles and Miss Marvel and who else has like been replaced with a younger version?
Amadeus Cho, Hulk. That's the Champions book right now.
Oh, okay, so that is a book.
Yeah.
Now, in that storyline, do you read that book?
So like, it just changed creative teams, and I've been like reading it on and off, or I read like half of it when I'm like flipping through the book. It's not really my deal, but I read the latest issue. Yeah.
So I would think that that book would be really interesting if it was just a team of kids and it was, they're trying to be heroic and they're trying to do the right thing, but because of their inexperience, that they just mess up all the time. And like they're always chasing after fixing the mistakes they made from the last story arc. Like,
Yeah, I mean, they have the
think,
team.
I
They
think
have the team, John. They have the champions that book, and that's the book. But what you're saying is that's not exactly how the stories go. A lot of the times that those characters, those younger characters, aren't very flawed. They don't have a lot of depth, and they always do the right thing.
see it just I think it would be a better book if if I was going to introduce a bunch of new young diverse characters, like I would make sure they were flawed and kind of make it obvious that they're thrown into this hero thing, they just got these powers or whatever, and that they don't know what the hell they're doing. I think that would be an interesting book to read.
Yeah, fans want to see. Fans, I think, want to see flawed characters, and they want to see like obviously some sort of conflict, and even if it's within the character themselves, so they could relate to the character, even though the character might be super smart or has a flying suit or whatever, So I think that, especially for the younger characters, you can't just make a character up and say they're as good as Captain America. Go. People kind of reject that, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying you should have let your audience grow with those characters,
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
and then it probably would have been a success.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, me too.
So, one last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we'll get out of here. So, I got my hat in. So I got that up here. You guys can see that. So we got shop.blathercast.com. You can get other Blathercast comics. We got shirts with little sayings on there. I've got a kid shirt. I'm working on a design to do a couple dresses, and bikinis. So
Whoa.
my kid did a really cool painting, and it would have made an awesome dress, but I, for whatever reason, can't get a high enough image scan of it to look good when it's actually on a dress.
Right.
But yeah, so we're going to have all kinds of fun stuff over there. Maybe leggings too for the ladies, t-shirts, hats, mugs. This hat already looks kind of beat up and dirty because I live next to a bunch of cornfields, and the farmer just used the blades or whatever to cut the corn down, the excess corn. He didn't plow it under the field. So all the corn stalks and husks and stuff that were left over from last year they were all over my yard.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was using the sweeper and stuff and cleaning them, and of course it was kind of windy, and then it like dust and crap got all over me. So the hat's a little, I've had it like 3 days. It's already dirty as hell. But
now you can test the durability in the washer.
But you can see it's a nice quality embroidered hat. It's made in America for you people who aren't communists and like supporting America. 5-year-olds in America made this, not 5-year-olds in China. So, support your local youth and buy this hat.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Anyways, I guess that's it for me. Check out shop.blathercast.com. It'll be in the description. Follow me on Twitter at Johnny Redbeard.
Mm-hmm. And follow me at Second Prince on Twitter.
And don't forget to hit the little subscribe button down in the bottom right-hand corner. It's been there the whole video. So go ahead and hit that and hit the notification thing, because the subscribe button doesn't notify you when you've got, unless you hit the subscription tab. I really don't dig the way it should, when you subscribe, it should opt in on notifications, and then you should have to turn notifications off. I
don't have an opinion on that, I guess. Whatever.
I don't know. And then
you have to hit the bell for notifications, I guess. It's a separate step.
Right. And then I get all kinds of recommendations from video. Like I watch one video about something, and then it starts recommending tons of videos about that topic. And I was like, man, I really wasn't that interested in yellow squash. I just wanted to look at one recipe. All the things I got a place where you can put that squash, buddy.
And a nice salad. Anyway.
Another issue
in the bag.